Hey everyone, it's Austin and welcome back to the channel. It's day 283 on my journey to 2000, where I'll be uploading a video every day until I make it there, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, check out fianchetoclub.com, where you can get some sweet chess-inspired streetwear, code Kiwi for a discount, and today's the day. Today is the day. We're gonna do some more puzzles! So, we have been playing well, and I don't really have many complaints with the way that I've been playing or anything. But I really do want to make this a habit to do puzzles more often on the channel, because I think it's pretty fundamental for my improvement. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, I guess the idea is that we give up the rook, or we give up the queen for both rooks, and then we win the knight back, so we're actually up a piece and two rooks for the queen, so. But that is a very unbalanced endgame to say is confidently winning at such a low level. Low level of puzzles, I mean. So I think the move is just check, up, and then, or sorry, wrong arrow. Queen f8, king h5, queen h8, mate. Yes. Oh. So I think that's just mate. You guys ever get tired of saying mate? I feel like it's weird. It reaches a point where it's just kind of weird, right? Just sounds weird rolling off the tongue. Mate this, mate that. It's a rainy Saturday here in Maryland. And I just want to drink my coffee and get my day started right. I don't want to rush. You know, this isn't a timed thing. I almost missed that this pawn was hanging, though. That would have been exciting. Man. This just forces the fork. His knight's not coming anywhere scary. Do I have another tempo on the queen? Nah. We'll take our exchange. White to move. Well, he can't make any forward progress with his pawns, and his bishop is now trapped. So if I go here, his king can technically step into the square. But I think we're very happy to have a draw here. Let's keep pushing. Push, push, push. No, we just push. Sack the bishop, baby. It took me all the way into that point to actually realize that it was possible. I mean, this is hanging with check. King goes here. Take that with check. So let's say the king goes to the corner, then it's back rank mate. It just looks really good. Oh. Oh. The reason that I said it's back rank mate, because the only way to avoid it was to hang your rook. And I expected him to hang mate instead. Although I suppose hanging your rook is technically more accurate. Wow. You guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but I actually think queen h3 check is the move here. Simultaneously checking the king and taking away this escape square. He can't block with anything besides the knight, and if he blocks with the knight, then I obviously just take it. But that is his only move because it's mate. One of the Daniel Naroditsky videos that I watched recently was, okay, that's just like free or what? Yeah, that's 100% free. Take this with check first, and then we take the rook. It was this very interesting Daniel Naroditsky video where he made a point. He was like, when you're attacking and you want to give checkmate, it's not just about giving every check that you can. It's about looking for the escape squares that the king has and taking them away. And that puzzle helped reinforce that. So this should just be mate in a few moves. Check. 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 In that case, it was just giving checks, but I can walk the king all the way over to give checkmate. That's a funny puzzle. White's a move. Check here, mate. Well, bishop blocks, but then we give mate, so. He blocks with the bishop right away. I probably should have seen this. Yeah, it's the same sequence. Thankfully. I mean, that's just a free rook for us. Check. Wow, a little pawn check for the boys, huh? King's forced up. Take here. If you take here, any checks from the rook aren't really going to be good. Check here. Check here. Check here. Perhaps not. I definitely think that this is the correct first move. Check here. What other checks do we have in that position? We can't take this pawn. We have no diagonal checks. We have no lateral checks. I think it has to be this. Then after takes, king takes on g4. What do we play? Queen f4 check. And these three squares are taken. So is this. So the king has to go to the h file where rook h7 will be mating. Yep. Very good. Very good. Interesting. Takes. King h4, king c6, king g4, king d7, king f4, king e7, g5. If king takes, we take this and we're just winning. So he does this to make a passer, but we're in time to stop it. King g5, e6, takes, king f6. And we're still in time to get in front of the pawn. Yeah, we're just good to go here. Okay, that makes it easier. So obviously I want this check to work, but it doesn't. No check here. Kind of inclined to play this. Takes here, takes. Check. And you end up losing the queen, which seems pretty good. Takes. Does he have any checks? No. Yeah, I think it's just taking here. Yeah, so we give this check. Just double check real quick. Yeah, this check just wins the queen. Okay, so now let's see if there's something more precise. We give this check. Bishop blocks. I mean, in a game, I would just take the queen like instantly here. But I guess it's not that simple because he has 2 rooks for it. No, he does. He has 1 rook for it. He has 2 rooks for it. Trust me. Okay, so check. I don't really see anything leading to mate there. It shout out Apex. We're talking about the Grand Prix attack. And I'm just telling him that he beat a shout out to him. He did good. He played a 2100 in the Grand Prix. That's what he plays against the Sicilian. And this 2100 didn't even know theory of the Grand Prix. It's like, how are you going to learn the Sicilian and not like at least look at one line against the Grand Prix? And he was like, so you mean to tell me that if I play the Grand Prix against you, that it's not going to work? Like, yes, bro. All right, so if I just take, then I don't actually think that it's super good. All right, hold up. All right, go away, Apex. I'll talk to you later. So check. If he blocks, then I think taking with the rook is probably pretty good. No, I'm probably taking with the queen, actually. And then his king is forced here. And then we take this, which would be great. But now if I give this... Well, wait, hold up. What am I talking about? The queen isn't hanging in that position. Check, blocks. Check, here. That doesn't feel very conclusive either. Check here. Check. I should really stop drawing arrows. Rook e2. Bishop d2. Rook d2. King b1. The problem is on b1 the king is like low-key kind of safe. So I feel like it's just taking. Takes. Or I should say rook b3, king b3, queen c4 check. Queen c4 check. The king can go back to b2, which would lose to bishop e5 check. So the king would want to go to a3, which still defends the bishop as well. And then after that... Oh man, I know I'm overthinking it. I just don't want to get it wrong. I would just take the queen if I was in a game here. Because his king is just so weak. Is it like a really simple mate that I'm missing? I don't think so. I think his king is just like kind of safe on b1, and there's no reason to keep his queen on the board when I can just win it. Yeah, so I'm glad that we made it there after all. Oh, well, this one's a little bit easier, huh? This check seems pretty good. Damn. Check. Hello? If I take, not only can he take, but there's like no point to doing that. Check here. Bishop here. Seems really strong. But this pawn is defended, technically. Is the air good? Just go for it. Maybe I play this first. Here, takes. Maybe not. Check here. It would be great if I could get my bishop, like, here. Check here, push, takes, check. Yeah, that looks pretty good. But I gotta look out for his checks, obviously. So check here, push, check here, check here. Rook takes, I'm still taking here. Feels good, or going there with check. So I think that this is the idea. Look at this, it's almost like I calculated this, huh guys? Yay, calculation over everything. So this is just made, right? How many of you guys have fallen for that trap? Puzzle 29. What on earth? Takes, knight takes is the most annoying. Takes, knight takes. That doesn't do anything. And the important thing is that it covers that check when he brings his knight in. Which we don't like. His queen is kind of loose. Oh, what if I take here? The takes. And we're just up a piece. Takes, does he have any intermezzo? Check. Takes. Yeah. There we go. It took me a while to find that. I mean, taking this with check seems pretty nice. King goes back here. We know what happens after that. King comes up. Check. Here. Check. Then the king is forced back anyway. Yeah. Bonk. Bro really just got bonked. So the queen is undefended. Can we sack the queen here? I think we can. Check. Takes. Queen h6. G takes. Rook takes h6. King. It doesn't matter. In some order or another, the king will land on g8, where we give check on h8. The king comes up to g7, and then we use the other rook to come up. So I'm going to follow the advice of my hoodie, and sack the queen. Oh, look at that. That's a good looking move. Check. Well, the king can't come here. That's the big part. Check here, check. And then it's back rank. You have to block with the rook, and then we just take it. Nice. I'm pretty decent at finding, like, maiden threes and stuff. I don't know. Maybe not. Is that just mate in one? Queen f2, mate in one. Am I bananas? Am I going completely bonkers right now? Whoa. This is crazy. Let's be honest, we want to get the rook involved. Oh, this has to be the move. Look, because it doesn't matter. Like, he can't block. He has to go back, and then we play queen up to h7, and then he still can't block. Yeah, he can. He can block with queen c7. c7. So rook h6, king b7. The reason I'm saying king b7 is because that's what actually allows him to block. If he, well, yeah, because if he goes king c7, then queen h7, he can't block with anything without it being taken. So yeah, let's say rook h7, rook h6, king b7. The other problem is that he's running away. He could be getting to a6 if I don't keep my queen on this diagonal. Interesting. I'm trying to see if there are any other checks that make sense. Rook h6. King b7. Queen d7. King c7. Queen d5. You can't block again because then I give check on h7 with the rook. I guess I'm stuck between rook h6 check and rook c8 check. Rook c8 check though I think is bad because he just plays, well, no. Hold up, that could be pretty good actually. Well, it could be a drawn position actually. Like, I can't just take one of his queens, like, unless it's completely for free with check or something. Because then we'll just have a queen v queen endgame where he's technically up a pawn. So rook c8, king b7, queen d7. He can't block. So it has to be king a6. Oh, damn. And then it's rook a8. And that's checkmate. Wow. See, I knew we would find it there eventually. I mean, it's just not just... Oh, the rook is pinned. Damn. Oh, no, this is still mating, actually. Yeah, because the queen covers this square, not this square, thankfully. Queen here just threatens this and that. Hard to resist. I could care less about this pawn. I think it's just queen here. Queen e5, f4, queen takes a1, knight c3, queen takes a5. No, can't take on a5. Is the queen actually trapped after queen c, or after knight c3? Knight c3, the queen has to go to a3. It's a little sketch. but I guess completely still possible. He's not really mating me or anything. So I think that this is the move. Okay, I didn't think that this was as testing, because the knight is not really like around the queen or anything. So I mean, this is literally my only safe square. So let's go there. Oh man, so this is white to move, checkmating black, huh? Is this mate in one? Weird. Very weird. Interesting. Check. Queen h1, king e2. Queen e4. Queen e4, king d2. I'm certain that it's queen h1, but I want to be confident with the whole line before I play it. Queen h1, king e2, queen e4, king d2, queen f4. I guess king could go back to e2. That's not so simple. Yeah, I mean, obviously everything has to be check here, so maybe after queen e4 check, king d2, bishop h6 check. Pawn can block technically, but I think that, yeah, no, that's mating. Because the king just has no squares. The pawn has to block, and then it's mate in the middle of the board. Well, it's okay, it's not mate. I think you can come back, potentially. Okay, so the line is queen h1, king e2, queen e4, king d2, queen 8, or bishop h6, f4, bishop f4, and then in that position, he's just mated. Yeah. Yeah. Damn, that felt really good. White to move. So this check technically just wins the rook. But do we have better, I guess? Like, there's nothing that... what am I talking? Yeah, no, this has to be to disconnect the rook vision of the queen. Check. Take here, it's check. There's nothing else you can block with. Yeah, I think that this is just the way. Whoa. Okay, so this check seems pretty strong. My king is very mated as well, let the record show. This check, does he have queen takes? Probably, to be honest. This check, problem is this king can run over. Red rover, red rover. No. We have to find a way to get his king on this square without the knight being in the way. That's what we need. This check, I think he does have queen takes. Is the problem. What I'm looking at is... Wait, can we give mate without the queen? Can we sack the queen? No. Because if the rook ever recaptures the queen, it's with mate. So check here. Has to be the way. Knight h6, king h8. I don't know. Knight f7. Let's say rook f7. Dang, dude, we are like in such a pickle right now. Well, let's just say rook f7. King is still on h8. Can't take anything ever on g7 because the rook recapturing is coming with mate. So, I don't know, queen h5 check. Everything has to be a check, otherwise we're getting mated. Queen h5 check. King g8. And we're just nowhere. This one's kind of tough, I'm not gonna lie. Now I'm starting to look at ways that we can like defend ourselves. Like what if we played rook? No, that doesn't even make sense, actually. Rooks can never go to g1. Knight h6, king h8, queen e4, bishop e4. It just doesn't look good, man. It just doesn't look good. What am I talking about? I'm smoking crack. Rook, or knight h6, king h8, bishop g7 is mate. Am I like literally addicted to meth or like what? Dude, that was so bad. I'm not gonna lie. That was like actually so bad. So technically the knight is pinned. So this should be just mate. Yeah, dude. Very poor. Very poor by me. Black to move. So I need the pawn to win. Obviously. So, oh my goodness, kind of inclined to play knight c5. Bishop can come back. This takes squares away from the king. Let's say c3, what does he play? What I would love is a way for my knight to cover some more squares. Why can't the knight just be a better piece? C3. I don't know, king E2. C3, I think no matter what I play, I think he has to come back to C2 with the bishop, to be honest. So knight C5. Let's just say C3. No. That's why you play C3 first, because on bishop C2, we play knight B4. And if the bishop stays on this diagonal, what do we play? Then it becomes challenging. That's a lobby to play knight C5 first. But then we don't have a way to attack the bishop on this move. Because if C3 and, like, I don't know, the bishop has to stay on this diagonal, obviously, to protect the square. So, like, C3, bishop B3, hangs the bishop, C3, bishop C2, bishop C2. Wait, we have this check. And the king needs to step away from the defense of the bishop. So he goes here first. Now I think I go here, and the bishop is forced here. What I want to do is, the goal is to get your knight in the way, so that way, like, you literally just sack the knight to push the pawn another square. Like, that's the goal. So, like, knight c5, bishop d1. Bishop d1. Obviously, we can't push. Knight b3. Knight b3, king d3. It's not working. Things are not working. Same story with knight c1. I would love for him to keep his bishop where it is so I could put my knight on b3 and then push the pawn with it being blocked. It's like I want my knight to be able to control d1 as well. Yes. No. No. Knight c5, bishop d1. Knight c5, bishop d1. Knight b3. No, I think what it is knight c5, bishop d1, king c1. I don't think there's a way for me to prevent his... Damn, what if I give this check? Calculate a check, right? Check. King is forced away. Check. king can get up to the pawn. And this does not feel very good. Check. Damn, dude, this is tough. This is tough. Any merit to king? Any merit to knight b4? I don't think so. I mean, right now with my king and my pawn on dark squares, they're locked. So I could put him through a bit of a rigmarole with my knight. Knight f4, king d3. But I want to keep his king away from the pawn. And the best way to do that is king c5, or knight c5. The thing that sucks about his bishop getting to d1 is the only two squares that I can really compete for d1 with my knight are occupied by my king and my pawn, right? So that's why I was thinking about like king c1 ideas. Knight c5, bishop d1. No, no, it's so simple. I missed that knight c1 is with check. I literally had it freaking spelled out, dude. I just missed that it was with check this entire time. So poor. So poor. So what's check? Is the real question. If I give check on d7, obviously the king can go to c4 and still defend the rook adequately. So let's say queen e6 is a starting candidate move. Queen e6, king d4, staying off of that file. King d4, queen d6, queen d6, king e3, king e3, queen e5, or even like queen f3 or queen g3. I mean, I think it's completely winning for us because we should just be able to give checks to pick up all this stuff. The key is going to be giving checks on this diagonal, so that way we can come back and take this pawn. Like, we would end up giving a check here, and the king needs to move off to still defend the rook. And I think the best way to get to that is probably through this, to restrict him, because if I go here, he goes here. And then that just kind of like sucks. We end up giving checks on light squares. I guess not necessarily. But this forces the king towards the center, or to stay in the center, which is I think what we want. So queen e6, just to like reiterate the line, queen e6, queen d4, queen d6, king e3, queen f3, or queen g3, sorry. Queen g3, king d4, Queen d6. Queen e3, king e3, queen e5. Can start going on to light squares, I guess. I don't know. I don't know which one is better. What if queen a8 is the best move? You know, it's like, who knows? Who knows? I feel like as long as you keep giving checks and like don't blunder, then you're just going to win this as black. Like, you don't necessarily need to find the best move, but maybe I'm completely wrong and I'm thinking about this in the wrong way. I don't know. I don't know if I care, to be honest. That's the thing about these puzzles. Sometimes it just reaches a point where I just like, do I care? Like, literally, do I care? Oh, this just picks up the rook, bro. Oh, at least I'm not giving up. Did I mention that my performance has been poor? This just forces us to play an endgame where we're up pawns. Because if not, check here. We just take this. And then he can't really do anything because we're threatening to go here and win the rook. So I think that the move is just... I think the move is just knight b7. Knight b7, rook takes, rook takes. I mean, I suppose that rook takes f2 would be the most accurate. And then we would take on h7. Yeah. And we're just up pawns. Yeah. We're just up pawns. So this is just mate because it's pinned. 46. Wow, we're on puzzle 46 and we haven't gotten any wrong. If that's not a testament to my patience, I don't know what is. I really just want to take that. But I think the move is actually to give a check. If rook blocks, though. Maybe not. Rook takes, pawn takes. I really wish that I had this check available to me. I'm all out of coffee, guys. Very sad day when you're out of coffee. Wish I had some bishop. Takes, pawn takes. And that's the funny thing, is that I actually think that's winning. Rook takes, pawn takes, queen g4, hitting the pawn, threatening this check. And you just can't defend this pawn. No matter what, we're picking up the pawn, and then we'll just be equal material. No, we'll be up a pawn in the resulting endgame, and his king is so weak. Big thing is that our queen is covering this check after queen g4. I mean, that's probably what I would play if this was my game. Do we have any sacrifices that are crazy? Queen a8, rook d8, can't just take it. That would be exciting though, wouldn't it? I was thinking like, what if we just played rook takes g5 in that position? Then he would just take our queen and his back rank is defended, and we lose. Rook takes g5, h takes g5, queen g4. I just don't see anything better. And I don't see how he avoids his king being so weak in the resulting position. Like our queen could be getting... Our queen could end up infiltrating after rook takes g5. Like, no matter what he plays, the next move is going to be rook takes g5. After queen h5 check, obviously. I suppose it's not super conclusive because if, like, rook g5, hg5, queen g4, king g8, I think we would have to remain patient in that position and play queen h5. And then the king, let's say the king runs to g8 or f8. Rook takes f8, rook d1 check. And then that just kind of sucks because then king g2, rook d2 check, and he's picking up the a2 pawn. Man. Is it queen h4? Queen h4 threatening rook g5. If you take on g2, then queen takes f6 check. What does he do to what does he do? Queen h4, king g8, rook takes, pawn takes, and now it's the same idea, but the sequence is actually kind of forced. And we would play queen takes, g5. No, but that allows queen f3 check. And that's mating. No, but it would be check. It would be queen takes g5 would be with check. And then we would just end up a pawn. But is that like good enough? Queen h4, king g8. Rook takes g5. Pawn takes, rook takes g5 check. No, I think we're picking up the queen. Because we, at the end of it, if his king goes to f8 or... Yeah, if his king goes to f8, we give check on g8 with the rook. King e7. Brilliant move, rook e8, check. And then we're up a queen for a rook. Yeah. Yeah, just go here. Let's go. Let's go. Does it check? Rook G7, King G7, Queen E5. Queen E5, F6. F6, Queen E6. No, in that position, it would have to be... No. Nope, doesn't work. What I'm thinking doesn't work. Okay, so he has no checks right now. Let's keep that in mind. Both of my rooks are hanging. Rook G7, King G7, Queen E5, F6, Queen C7. Rook F7, Rook H7, King H7, Queen F7. The problem is that these guys are connected. Gotta find some sort of way to interrupt that. Or find another way to try to get coordinated on the 7th rank. I mean, like, Rook HG1 is like a fine move that keeps the game alive, but I think that there has to be some sort of a knockout here. There has to be some sort of a knockout here. We're at 57 minutes. That's good. Rook G7, King G7, Queen E5. Does he have anything else that's good? If he tries to block with Queen F6, then Rook H7 wins. Deflecting the queen, removing the defender of the queen, I should say. And if he goes... Blocking is like his only move, right? What if he comes up to G6? King G6. Oh man. Wait. Rook G7, King G7, Rook G1. Drawing the king out into the open. King F6. Queen D6 would be like lights out for the young man. What else can he do? He can't block with the queen. If he goes back into the corner, Queen E5, then F6. Queen E5, F6. Not sure what to play in that resulting position. Rook e7. Rook g7, king g7, queen e5. Queen e5 first to cut off that escape square on h8. Then after f6, then rook g1. Nothing can really block. I think that that's it. I think that that's it. No! Alright, let's chill out for a second. It's all good. We're gonna hit 50. We're gonna get 50. Trust. So rook c7 seems incredibly obvious in this position. Maybe it's too obvious. Trading anything loses the game. Rook c7, king g8. The only thing that's loose in his position is his rook on a4 and the pawn on h6. Rook h7, king g8. Rook, what did I say? Rook c7, king g8. Rook g7. Rook g7, king f8. No, I'm just like doing checks for nothing. Rook h7. I mean, you could probably even play h5 there. Then what? Bishop c5 check. This king just walks towards the center. No, I think the real threat, the only thing to really threaten anything is rook c8. Because that actually threatens mate, and his king has no escape. I think that's just the move. Yeah, I think that's just the move, and nothing can defend. He can give a check on a1, then just king h2. We're vibing. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Wow, how about that? So this seems pretty obvious. Queen b2, king d2. See, that's the whole problem, is that the king is escaping towards the center. It's really these three squares that we have to find a way to restrict at the same time. Important to notice that this connection is taking place. Huh, maybe we have an interesting idea here. Queen b2, king d2, rook c2, king e1, king e1, rook e2, king f1, and the king is just like extremely safe on that square. Rook takes, perhaps. There just isn't a way to cover this square, because the queen really wants to come here and it can't. Rook takes c2, king c2, then queen b2, and the king is forced to e3 or d3. e3 or d3. If e3, well, no, he can't go to e3. He's forced to d3. Then rook b3 check. And the king is forced to f4. King f4, queen f2. And then the king has to go to g5 or g4. g5 or g4. Then we can take another pawn. We can take g2 with check with the queen, or we can give rook g3 check. Rook g3 check. And the queen is cut off from any further checks, and that's the problem. So queen g2 check. If the king comes back to f4, then rook f3 is actually mate. So let's say that the king goes over one more square to h4. h4 or h5, right? h4 or h5. See, that's where I think it falls apart, because the rook covers the h file. Rook covers the h file. So queen g2 check, king h4. I really want that to work, because that would be cool. King h4, huh? Or king h5. I mean, king h5 is a little bit different, because then rook h3, rook takes h3, queen takes h3, and then the king. I mean, we're just gonna run out of checks, and he just is up 2 queens and a rook. So what I was calculating was, I didn't calculate one very fundamental line yet. I calculated queen b2, king d2, and rook c2. Let's look at queen b2, king d2, and queen c2. Queen c2, same story, king can go to e3 or e1. From e3, we have we have queen e4 check for both, and then the king, the rook can come up to rooks can come up to the second rank. Okay, so queen b2, king d2, queen c2. Let's say queen, or let's say king e1, queen e4. Queen e4, king f1, king f1, nothing. Literally nothing. I don't have a single check in that position. Queen b2, king d2, queen c2, king e3. Well, if king e3, then it kind of goes into the other position, but we're just up a rook. So he would probably go king e1, because that honestly seems safer. And in that position, I'm already, like, almost out of checks. So what I'm calculating is check here, check here. And like I've already screwed up because I feel like he can get to e1. We don't want him to get to e1. But if I do this, then his king is forced into the center. Rook b3. And this is what I was looking at before. Wait, I found it. That's mate. Dude, what the hell, man? What was I calculating before? That's literally mate. It's all good. It's all good. Alright, so this seems like the most obvious move. But then the king can scurry. Check here, check is actually mate. Check. Can't go there, can't go there. So it's just mate. Are you serious? What am I missing? Okay, we made 50. That's a career high, guys. I've literally never gotten to 50 before. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so takes, knight f5. No, but he has checks with the queen. No, but he has checks with the queen. I was thinking, like, you know, if he takes this, then I take this. If he moves his queen to move out of the way of the knight, then this is mate. La-di-da-di-da. Okay, but that's not it, obviously. Perhaps. What if knight f5 first? Knight f5, he just takes on e1. I mean, I'm down in exchange here. I can't be, like, I have to go for mate, obviously. What about knight d5? Knight d5, rook d3. Rook d3 loses the soap, drops the soap, so knight f6, g takes, rook e8, king g7, and rook b8. Rook d5, rook takes d5, we win. Knight d5. I'm sure that I'm saying the wrong coordinates and the wrong pieces, like, literally all the time. So you guys are gonna have to excuse me for that. Look at this. We're getting so many puzzles right that the frickin' overlay isn't showing all of it. That's what I'm talking about. Might as well just extend that, like, the rest of the way. So knight d5. Rook e1, knight f6, gf6, queen takes d4. And obviously we're winning that. Knight d5, what about any checks? He doesn't have any checks in that position. Knight d5, rook d3, knight f6, gf6. Yeah, I think it's just knight d5. Yeah. Nice. 51. And you'll notice I'm not necessarily calculating like literally every single move. Interesting. This is the check that everybody wants to give, but then the king starts getting away. Check here. Now I take this with check. King can go anywhere here. King steps onto a light square. If he ever goes here, then this check seems really good. This check right away. The king is still running away. Interesting. Check here actually seems like a bit of a problem, to be honest. Not at all, because then this check blocks, actually. I was thinking it skewered the queen. But blocks. Um, 94. Let's just calculate one move at a time, huh? Let's try that for once. 94. 94 king f3. Let's just say. Hypothetically. King f3. Right. I can go knight d2 check. Knight d2 check. His king can return to f2. But then I'm taking on f1 with my queen with check. And as long as I don't find a way to blunder a perpetual, that should win the game. Which I wouldn't, because my queen can come back to f8. So I don't think he can come up. So let's say queen, let's say rook, oh my god, pieces. 94. Let's say he doesn't give the pawn up with check. Let's say he goes king g2. King g2. Let's say queen takes e3 anyway. Defending the knight. No, what am I talking about? The knight's not hanging. Queen takes e3. Technically, yes, defending the knight. But what threat does this really carry? I guess it's threatening to take the pawn on g3 with check. Simultaneously threatening queen f2 check. If queen f2 check comes, it's dropping the bishop as well. That seems like it's the move. Because out of... Okay, so we'll hold up. Let's say king g1. Then queen takes e3 is with check. And then... I don't know, king h2. Queen f2 check. King h3. Queen's taking with check. No matter where you go, queen's taking with check. I feel like it's 94. So let's see if there's any merit to like a different check. Like queen d2. Queen d2, the bishop can just block. But then knight e4. Queen d2, bishop e2, knight e4. King f1 still holds on to the bishop. No. Then knight g3 picks up the queen. So let's say he doesn't block. Queen d2. He has one move, which is king f1, queen e2, or queen e3. And the problem is that the knight can't really get into this square so easily with check, because the queen is always going to cover that square. No, but it wouldn't matter, right? Because the queen is on e3. Man, I don't know. I don't know if it's one or the other. So just to review, queen d2, bishop e2, knight e4, knight e4, knight e4, king f3, and now the knight can't come to d2 anymore. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. Because of that one little nuance that the queen was on d2 and couldn't come here anymore. Okay, so now what I calculated was queen here. Or no, I calculated just taking the pawn anyway. No, but if I take the pawn anyway, every move needs to be a check, otherwise I'm getting perpetualed. So check. I missed that nuance. Is it this check? Damn, because if I give this check now, the king can come up. Like if I take here, it's just check. Here, check, here. If I give this check and the king comes up. Check. King here, this check. Oh, knight can't teleport there. No, then the queen's coming over here. No, queen can't teleport there either, Austin. What if it's like something stupid like taking this pawn? No, this isn't, no, this isn't perpetual because check here, check, we can block. But do we really want that endgame? We're up a pawn? We have to have better than that. We have to be mating here. Check, king up is the only problem. Check, king takes. Here, I think I'm just busted. Check, king up. Check. I forgot about the checks. I went into this position thinking that queen takes e3 was just crushing. It's not. It's not. There has to be something else. What if it's this? Covering both checking squares. I mean, there's no way, right? Oh man. I mean, this is technically check. It's gonna be a fight to get my way back to prevent the perpetual, though. Knight f6, if that's the right move, that would be crazy. Alright, I have to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. This has been a long video. Alright. Sorry about that. You know, it's just an hour and a half long video. And obviously, guys, like, if you've known that the puzzle was solved, just, like, skip around and stuff. But I'm gonna take this seriously, because this is my new high score. At least I'm trying to take it seriously. I really just want to guess. Interesting. There's, like, something on my screen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Is this not just, like, mating? Check here. Check here. Bishop h6, king h7, knight g5, king h6. Knight f7, king g7, queen h6, king f7. Shoot, king f7, and it doesn't work. At least not the way that I initially calculated it. Maybe there's a different knight move. Bishop h6, king h7, knight g5, king h6 is the only move. What about rook h8 in that position? Rook h8, king... I don't think that's it, because king g7 and knight h7 are possible. If king g7, then knight e6, but then just king takes. No, king takes h8 doesn't work because queen h6, and no matter what, mate is on g7. So what about the other move? What if knight blocks with h7, knight h7 in that position? No, then we're definitely winning with knight g5 or knight g6. Knight e6. Knight e6 because it covers g7. That's actually just mate. So I think it's bishop h6, king h7, knight g5, king h6, rook h8, and then I think would be more accurate is king g7, knight e6, and king takes h8 is actually forced, and then queen h6, no matter what, if king g8, or if knight h7, queen g7 is mate. Damn. That sucks. Alright, so what the hell was this one? It was definitely this, and then I was thinking that I played this in the continuation. Perhaps this is the move. And then after blocks, it's this. Yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah. Yeah, probably just takes. Yeah. See, my thing is like, I don't know. What I'm trying to do is just play my calculation and see if my calculation is right. So even if I see a move in the middle, okay, so it's like really, man, what is, oh, duh. Damn, son. It's easy to see what after a couple moves have been played. That's the thing. I'm trying to calculate it from the beginning. Like this, what I think it is, I think it's this. Yeah, and then it's a lot more obvious that it's this. Yeah. But just for curiosity, why is this bad? King g7, knight takes e6. You can just play f takes e6. And then here you're actually getting away because this square is covered. Yep. Missed that one. Alright guys, well that was one hell of a puzzle rush. That's the highest I've ever gotten, including in one where my coach helped me. One where my coach helped me, I got to 49, but the fact that I just hit 51 is, it feels really good. I think those ones that I missed were definitely within my grasp. It felt a little bit like a stamina issue, to be honest, but that's why I want to do these long puzzle videos, so I can flex that brain muscle and like work hard on calculation for a long period of time straight. That'll help my endurance. So if you guys made it this far in the video, thank you very much. I appreciate it as always, and I will see you tomorrow.